High Heel Knight. Welcome to my channel. These are my thoughts on the 4th episode of Star Wars The Mandalorian. As always, there are spoilers in this discussion, so you have been warned. Starting out with what I enjoyed about the episode, we get to see the Mandalorian physically take his helmet off. Now, of course, we don't get to see his face. I wasn't expecting to see his face. But as I mentioned in my discussion video of the first episode, I didn't want to go through the entire season, and certainly not the entire series, no matter how long it lasts, without him ever taking off his helmet. It's like you gotta eat at some point, you gotta bathe at some point, you gotta like scratch or something at some point, or even just clean out the interior of the helmet at some point. So it was nice that we finally get to see the Mandalorian take his helmet off. Granted, he probably wouldn't have taken off with the window wide open, and if you can see children through that window, then the children could probably see him. So he probably wouldn't have done it when it could potentially been noticed. But hey, I wanted to see his helmet come off, and I'm happy. And another thing I liked is that this episode solves an issue that I didn't even realize was an issue before this episode began, but I listened to a particular podcast and it brought it up. There's a journalist named Arnita Sarkeesian. She's famous or infamous for commenting about the use of women in popular media, especially video games. The use of the women, the depictions of women, a lot of the tropes that are associated with female characters that are really just to enhance the male characters. Now, some of her complaints are pretty unfounded, and a lot of her complaints are complaints for the sake of complaining, but every so often she brings up a valid point. So, something she brought up as she was discussing the first 3 episodes is that there were no significant females in this series. It's like they only have 2 notable females, and that's the Mandalorian's mother, who, we see the parents running and scaring, go, I know, but no real lines, and certainly not a real name right there. And then we have the Mandalorian Forger, who, yes, is female and is obviously important to that Mandalorian group, but her helmet's on all the time, so you never see her face. There's certainly nothing feminine or, about the uniform she wears. So basically, if you watch the program on mute, you pretty much, would never see a woman throughout those first 3 episodes. So in this 4th episode, we finally get to see some women. First of all, we got Gina Carano as Cara Dune, and they actually said the character's name, so that's a big plus right there. And we have the the widow and her child. There was, females. We got the bartender that was female. We got females throughout the village. So yes, there are women in this section of the galaxy. So hopefully going forward, it will be more regular to see ladies part of the show as opposed to just thinking like, where are the women? Where are the women? What's up with this weird sausage party of this program? And one more thing I liked were use of the AT-STs. Now, I've loved the Imperial Walkers throughout the entire franchise, and they were so criminally underutilized in Star Wars The Last Jedi. I liked seeing the AT-STs, but what I really liked is that they were made scary. The AT-STs were mainly used in Return of the Jedi, and a lot of it was pretty comical because you had the AT-STs tripping over logs and getting smashed by logs, and the Ewoks, doing all types of comical things. By the way, I love the Ewoks. I love the Ewoks as a kid. I love the as an adult. I really appreciate the Ewoks. That aside, the AT-STs were really scary. Where in this episode, the AT-ST is scary. It's a threat. It's dangerous. So I really appreciated that they took something that was a lot associated with comedy and made it an imposing threat. On the negatives, as I mentioned in the discussion of the 3rd episode with the whole Mandalorian steel and how much of the little slab equals a piece of armor, I wanted more science in my science fantasy. Well, I guess this show is just going to go on fantasy a lot more than science, because you got the little baby Yoda keeping up with the Mandalorian at a walking pace. It's like, that creature has, what, a 2-inch stride to the regular man's stride? Like, there's no way that little creature would be keeping up with him with the pace he does, but somehow he does. Like, okay, fine, I guess we're going science fantasy, so anytime I have type of weird science problem, I'm just going to go science fantasy. But my real issue is with this episode and the show in general, like, towards the end, there's always some type of weird surprise, dramatic moment, and it's become a clear pattern. And it was fun first couple times, but it's the fourth episode. We're literally halfway through, and we're still having these surprise moments. What do I mean by that? Well, in the first episode, it seemed that the IG droid was going to kill the baby, and then the Mando suddenly kills the IG droid. In the second episode, it seems that the Mandalorian is going to get trampled, so the baby Yoda saves the Mandalorian. In the third episode, it seems like the Mandalorian is outgunned and outmanned and about to die, but hey, here comes the battalion of other Mandalorians to save the day. And now in this episode, we have a bounty hunter about to snipe the baby Yoda, and suddenly Cara Dune saves the day. So it's like there's all these surprise, dramatic, moments that come out of nowhere. I don't know, maybe I have to call them like RKO climaxes or something like that. But yeah, it's an annoying pattern. It's like you can't really do that over and over and over and over again because it gets repetitive, it gets predictable, and it gets boring. So as far as my verdict, my final thoughts, I've been really enjoying this series. It's very exciting. It's very entertaining, and getting to see all these this world just come more and more to life is wonderful. But the patterns are starting to show, and like I said, I really would prefer more science fantasy. But hey, there you go. So we're halfway through. We've got some interesting characters, and we're going to go into a totally different direction maybe as the season progresses. But so far, so good. So let's see how the rest of the half goes. And this episode gets the really cool positive emoji. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the fourth episode of Star Wars The Mandalorian. I would love to know what you thought of the show. Be sure to share whatever comments you like in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or dislike, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you for watching, and remember, find inspiration everywhere.